Okay, here's an example of using the quotient rule. So if we have a function, let's call j of x, which is the ratio of two other functions, or is a quotient of two other functions, f of x over g of x, then you can find the derivative of that quotient by taking the derivative of the numerator multiplied by the denominator minus the derivative of the denominator multiplied by the numerator divided by the denominator squared. Now, when we used the product rule, it never really mattered which one we called f and which one we called g. When we use a quotient rule, it's not that f and g matter, but what does matter is that the numerator has to be in the first thing, the derivative, and then subtracting, it's not the derivative, right? And then the denominator has to be the original function minus the derivative of that function, and then the denominator has to be down here squared. So it's not that you have to label them f and g, it's more that the numerator has to go in this place and the denominator has to go in these places. I'm going to stick with labeling them f and g so I can just follow this rule exactly. So we already know how to find the derivative of this function. It's from our Desmos activity. You can find it by multiplying. But what we're going to do now is look at how we can find it with the quotient rule. Generally, the biggest benefit of using the quotient rule is that you will have less simplifying to do at the end. So it saves you a little bit of simplifying. So the numerator here is x and the denominator is 2x plus 1. And then the derivative of x is 1. And the derivative of 2x plus 1 is 2. So now to simplify or to find the derivative of the whole function, we do the derivative of f of x, 1, times g of x, 2x plus 1, minus the derivative of g of x, 2, times f of x, x, divided by the original g of x, the original denominator, squared. And then all we need to do is simplify the numerator here, 2x plus 1 minus 2 over 2x plus 1 squared. Oh, I'm sorry, that was minus 2x. I didn't think we were wrong there. Okay. And then 2x minus 2x is 0. So you're left with 1 over 2x plus 1 squared. So again, that's the derivative of the function. So that's what we were asked to find, the derivative of x over 2x plus 1. If you compare this to the work that you did using the product rule, you might not notice that it's the same. And that's because using the product rule required many more steps to simplify, whereas in this case, it is already simplified. So that's generally the biggest benefit to using the quotient rule.